What's up, y'all? It's Otaku Tavern back with another video. This video is going to be a bit different than what I usually do, but this video is going to be about a personal backstory that quite a couple of people who watch the channel are interested in. So, yeah, we're going to get into this here momentarily. If you like the content that I create and you want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment, share it with your friends or whatever, all that good stuff, right? And anyway, I'll probably do more videos like this in the future. But this is going to be a past dating experience video, and this one is going to be quite a video to get through, to be honest. So yeah, we're going to get into it, and so anyway, I'm going to start from the beginning, basically, and hey, how's it going? I'm going to start from the beginning, like I said, and I'm just going to kind of just tell the whole story through. I'm going to talk about some red flags at the time that I missed. So before anyone comes at me with any type of judgment or anything, this story does take place before I was even religious. So, yeah, any comments about stuff like that is not going to, I'm not even going to reply to them. So, anyways, this story starts all the way back in 2013, and I don't necessarily remember the exact month, but it starts in early 2013, sorry. I think it was about like April-ish, somewhere around that, maybe March, April. I know it was like starting to become springtime and stuff like that, so yeah, anyway, this story takes place at that point in time, and I had met this girl, and her name was Victoria. I met her off of a dating site. It was called Meet Me at the time, as well as what it's called now. But back when I was younger, before I met her, actually, back when I was a teenager, this was called My Yearbook. It wasn't called Meet Me, and this was like a place where you could find like friends or dates or whatever and stuff like that. So anyway, I have a lot of bad experiences with this site, to be honest, but this was I guess it was a good / bad experience, I guess. But anyways, yeah, me and this girl, we talked on the phone a while, and she lived in Indiana, right? And, you know, we talked like all the time on the phone, I mean day and night, and, you know, we got to know each other quite well, and we set up a time for us to, you know, kind of meet each other, stuff like that, right? And so it was around the 4th of July when I went up there, and of 2013, and she and her the people she was like her guardians or whatever, they come down here and got me, and at the time, I just told my parent that I was going to a town over because I lived in a household, like, you know, where there was obviously a lot of stuff that was, like, you know, pretty controlling. I wasn't, like, allowed to kind of go a lot of places. And I just kind of told I was going to a town that I used to live in, right? And at the time, I get it. I shouldn't have lied about it. I understand that. I mean, I can agree with that. I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, they come down and they pick me up, and you know, we're talking in the car, and it took us about, gosh, a little over an hour and 30 minutes to, I think it was like an hour and 37 minutes, I believe, an hour and 38 to get to a place. It was called Dale, Indiana, and it was dark time when we got there, and you know, we kind of watched the fireworks and stuff like that, right? And you know, it was going good. It was going really well, and we after the fireworks, we go inside, and then we go to her room, right? And then we like start watching television. Like I was watching at the time. I used to watch this kind of stuff. It was Tosh.0 at the time. It was like a comedian. I don't watch that stuff anymore, but like at the time I did, and it's not really anything good to watch, to be honest. It's just a bunch of garbage, really. But anyway, we was just laying there, you know, cuddled up and whatnot. And I was just watching, you know, she was talking to me and stuff like that. And, you know, she was kind of like talking like a mile a minute. And it was like, you know, I didn't really mind that, but like the thing that happened next is honestly a red flag that I should have saw, because at the time, I was deeply in love with this woman. And you know, regardless of how you feel about, oh, you can't necessarily be in love with someone long distance or whatever, that, you know, if you got your own opinions on that, that's whatever. But and you know, just meeting this woman, spending time with her, you know, it made me fall for her even more. And you know, on the first night, like, you know, after the fireworks and all that jazz, right? We kind of started doing some like intimate things. You know, like I said, I was not religious at the time doing this, so yeah. Anyway, the weird thing is when we was doing this, her grandmother came into the room, and I know she couldn't have been that stupid. Like she saw what I was doing. She obviously saw what we were doing, and she just simply casually told us, well, dinner's ready. And I didn't really think anything of it at the time. But after, you know, we'd got done doing that, I was like, you know, your grandmother just like walked in. I was like, she had to have seen us doing that. Like, unless, you know, she just got bad eyesight or something. Well, anyway, I fully believe she saw it. And as I tell this story further, you'll understand why I believe this. But anyway, we went and ate, and afterwards we cuddled and then fell asleep as I was holding her and whatnot, and woke up the next day. And then there was it was like an apartment complex place she lived at, and there was like this little ice cream shop, right? And, you know, me and her went, and, you know, she got like a cone and with like sprinkles on it, all that kind of jazz, right? I just got plain vanilla. I'm a plain vanilla guy, so anyway, you know, we sat and talked, and the chat got pretty serious, you know, that we was talking about, you know, we was talking about like the future, stuff like this. I get it. Some people may say it was too early, but like I said, I knew this girl for a while, like, and you know, like, the more time I spent with her, the more I fell in love with her, so to say. And you know, as time went on, you know, we were sitting there talking, and you know, we talked for quite a while at this like bench at this ice cream place, and you know, we was just enjoying the ice cream, just talking. You know, after that we went on a walk, and you know, I was feeling pretty good, you know, like I was feeling really good. And afterwards, we went back in, played some video games, and then afterwards we watched television again, and then we went, like, we was just talking to like her family or whatnot. But like, this girl was about, you know, she was 19 when I met her, and she was like really, really short. Like, she was like 4'11" in height, and I didn't really expect, because like when she told me that, I was like, okay, well, maybe she's just kind of like self-conscious or something. But no, she was telling the truth. She was actually really that short, and she like only weighed like 90 something pounds, right? Like, she had some sort of like condition. I forget what it was called, but anyway, we sat there and talked with like her guardians or whatever. I didn't really care for them, to be honest. I kind of thought they were just bad people, to be honest, overall. But you know, I stayed there for 2 weeks. I'm not going to say like, well, actually no, I stayed there for 3 weeks. I'm not going to say like word for word what I did every day, because that's just going to kind of get old. But anyways, I spent 3 weeks with this person, and I had went home, and we started talking, you know, back on the phone again, and you know, she seemed really serious about me, and you know, I was serious about her, and anyway, the little time goes on, you know, we're talking on the phone, all this kind of jazz, right? And then like some more red flags start popping up, like she like I had like
better run home to mama now.
A suspicion that like she was kind of, you know, cheating on me and whatnot. And make a long story short, come to find out I was right. But anyway, that's not where the story ends. So, but anyway, like she came down and stayed with me for a while, and then she ended up getting upset or something and then leaving, and it was like that was a red flag about what she got upset about. So like we was playing a game. It was actually Destroy All Humans 2 on the PlayStation 2, and
Better run home to Mama now.
she was trying to tell me, like, because I've played that game ever since I was a teenager, right? And she was like trying to tell me like what to do on the game, and that's something that's like a no for me. And I kind of got agitated, and I was just like, well, don't tell me what to do on the game. I've played this game a lot more than you. I've played this game since I've been, you know, a teenager, so come on now, like, don't tell me what to do. So she got upset about it, got agitated that I said that, and left, went back up there to Indiana, and then called me not too long ago crying and saying that she was sorry, all this jazz, right? So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And, you know, like, she came down again.
You've got zip.
And then, you know, after we talked on the phone a lot more again, and we actually went to a
Let's see how many
river, and the crazy thing is I could tell this story to a lot of people, and they would not believe me. And she's the only one who actually saw this with her own eyes like I did, but we was actually just having like kind of like a romantic walk in this waterfall, like lake area. And keep this in mind, keep the waterfall and the lake area in mind, because this is going to pop up later on in the video. I'm going to talk more about this later on in the videos, and you'll understand why. Because I have mentioned this. This is the woman that I've mentioned a couple of times with the toxic videos and stuff, and it'll all make sense after the story's told. So anyway, me and her, we both saw it was an alligator, literally, I'm not even joking, swimming in this river. And I looked at her, I said, did you see that? And she was like, yeah. She said, that was an alligator. I said, yeah. I said, that's crazy. And I actually told my mother about it at the time. And then, I started trying to tell other people about it, because it was crazy that I saw that, like, in that type of place. Nobody believed me. They thought I was the crazy one, you know, and it was just really weird. But, like, anyway, she knows she saw it, and it's like, you know, I didn't see it alone. But anyway, we spent a lot of time at this waterfall / river lake area, and eventually, you know, I had proposed to this woman as well, at this very place in front of the waterfall. And
You'll never be a match for me.
she went back up there, and then she was supposed to have moved in, and she came down and visited again. She was supposed to move in. She didn't move in that time because she acted like she wasn't ready or whatever. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll give it some time, no worries. And that's when stuff started getting very awkward, very weird. She, apparently there was this guy, his name was like, started with a D, like Damien, I think his name was, some white dude, I don't know. Anyway, I found out that she was cheating on me with this guy, and, we broke up after a while, and later on, like, I was an idiot. I'll admit I took her back, and I shouldn't have done that. Like, but you know, I was blinded by love and desire for this woman, right? And that was my foolish thought. Like, that was my foolish thing I did. So anyway, she came down, and she had injured herself or something up there, and apparently this grandmother started telling me like things that she was doing, like trying to talk to like all the dudes in the area. I'm gonna be honest, I don't necessarily think she was trying to talk to all the dudes in the area, and the reason I say that is because her guardian wanted her social security check, right? And I mean, some of it was probably true. Yes, I fully believe some of it was true, but I feel like all of it wasn't. Like, you know, you get that feeling when someone's lying, right? But anyway, she came back down, and I actually had a person I knew personally. We went up there and got her. She had actually lived at the time. She had moved to Evansville, Indiana, and we went and got her, and she had something wrong with her, and I spent like quite a bit of money, like trying to get you know, taking care of her and stuff like that, because it's like nobody seemed to really take care of her, so to say. And you know, I poured in this money to do this for this woman. I got nothing back in return, to be honest. I mean, sure, like at the time, you know, we was fornicating, like I mentioned before, but you know, this story is not really about that, but anyway, we spent more time, and then, you know, we went back to this waterfall, and then, you know, she had told me that she like kept the ring that I gave her, right? And she you know, she had it on and whatnot, and then, you know, things was all right at the time, but it was like, you know, my trust for her was like, it wasn't like it was, obviously, before I found that out. And, you know, like a song, like one song that we had like together was a song, Keep Holding On by Avril Lavigne. And, you know, I cannot listen to this song to this day because of that. Because that was our song, obviously. And, like, you know, after this, when we got back together and, you know, we was engaged again, all this jazz, right? And, you know, like I noticed that the cheating started getting worse. This woman threw my mental health through the biggest loop I have ever had. Like out of every woman I have ever loved, I'll admit this one I love the most. Like, because the reason why is because I spent a lot of time with this woman. You know, we had a lot of deep conversation, a lot of deep talks. You know. You know, it was good and great at the time, you know, I'll admit. And so here's where the story starts to really go south, right? Anyways, this was in 2014, late 2014, when we broke up for good. And to top it all off, she started messaging me, and I mean, like, you know, wanting me back, stuff like this, and I was like, nope, I can't trust you, obviously, you've shown me that I can't, you know, and all this jazz, right? And then to top it all off, like, she would constantly text me. I mean, constantly text me, and we was not even together. She would try to call me on the phone, you know, and she would try to come down here. She would try to get me to come up there. She she was trying everything in the book, so to say, and you know, I just wasn't having it. After that, I had moved on to someone else for a little while, which will actually be a person I talk about sometime on this channel, right? And
Go easy on you. Round one.
another thing, like I want to mention, is when I was with this person, a lot she had this thing about her, like at the time she helped silence the demons. She helped silence the voices. Like I don't know if that necessarily makes sense, but like just being around her and all this stuff, you know, whatever we was doing, like it just, you know, it just felt right, you know. And she betrayed me, and you know, not just once. She betrayed me multiple times, and it really started to affect my mental health. It started to affect my relationship growth, my personal growth as a man. After this, it still does today, like I will talk about here later on in this video. But to make a long story short, she has been texting me ever since. She has not stopped. And what she does is she will wait about a month, 2 months, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, right? And she will be messaging me. She does not care that I'm married. She does not care about any of this. And I'm going to get into why. Like, and before you say, oh, well, just block her, yeah, that's not going to work. I've tried that. She just makes new accounts. You know, everything you can try besides a restraining order, I've tried. And I do plan on getting the restraining order. However, I don't even think that'll work. That I'm honestly pretty damn sure that will not work. Anyways, she got with another man, right? And then ended up having children. And, you know, she broke up with this dude, obviously, because he didn't want her. And she messaged me, talking, asking, hey, you know, can we get back together? You know, I've been thinking about a lot what I did and stuff. And then I was like, no, I'm actually married now, you know. And oh man, she was not buying it. She was like, oh no, you would never do that to me. You would never go and get married to a woman that was not me, right? And I literally had to send her a picture of my wife. And as soon as I did, she completely and utterly flipped her mood. Like, she was pissed. Like, she was like, you know, no other woman should be there. It should be me that's there. And, you know, I was telling her, hey, you know, you betrayed me. You know, you did all this, right? And, you know, she just still wasn't understanding it at the time. And she was young and dumb. That's what I'll say. She was young and dumb at the time. And she started cussing me out and just all this crap, right? And got mad, ended up blocking me, and I was like, oh, well, good riddance, you know. Well, no, that's farther from the truth. I wish the story ended there, but it doesn't. You know, she unblocked me and just kept trying and trying and trying, and still is to this day. But anyway, as of recent, you know, it was about last year, she had called me, and she was talking to me, trying to talk to me, and I was like, you know, I don't want to talk to you. Why are you simply calling? And like, the reason you probably may ask, well, why are you answering the call, right? Well, she's the type, if you do not answer, she will keep on calling. She will keep on messaging and blow your phone up until that damn thing lags. Like, that's literally what I'm talking about here. So, I just answered it, and I was like, you know, what is exactly you want? Because, you know, there's not really anything else to talk about, and... Anyway, she started talking to me and started talking about some of the things she did. She admitted to some of it, very little though. And she was talking about it, and you know, she told me, she goes, you know, I wish you were the father of my kids. And, you know, I cannot tell you what kind of pain I felt when she said that, even though I was married. I can't even tell you the amount of pain I felt. I was actually newly married at the time, when this happened, and, you know, it's like, you know, she keeps coming back to reopen the wound, so to say. And it's kind of like pouring salt in a wound. You know, you hear people say that, right? And it's like, you know, she'll message and be like, oh, well, you know, can we play Minecraft together? We can build a house on there, you know, and, you know, we can be a family on Minecraft, right? And I'm like, no. Like, I decline this every time because I don't want to play the game with her. I don't even play Minecraft. I don't play that anymore. But, like, I only really played Minecraft because I was, like, just wanting something kind of cozy to play, right? And another thing is, like, you know, she kept saying this, and I was like, no. And then, like, back when I played Dead by Daylight, before I gave it up for the Lord, but like she was like, oh, well, let's play that together, you know, we could team up and talk and all this stuff, right? I mean, just kept on going. And, you know, I was like, nope, not gonna do it, have no interest in playing with you. I said if I was going to play games with a woman, I would just play with my wife or something, right? You know, the only really women I play games with is my wife and my best friend, really. But like, it's just the nerve that she has is the problem. And you know, there was so many red flags back then that I should have paid attention to and didn't. But you know, when you're young and dumb, you know, and in love, I guess you just don't pay attention to that. Like, you know, this woman, like, she had a way to, she had a way, she knew what she was doing, I guess, like, so to say. Like, if you ever hear the expression, like, oh, well, you set my body ablaze, or you set it on fire, and I'm meaning obviously sexually. You know, like, I'll admit that was her for me. That was her for me. And, you know, I really love this person, and, you know, to someone who claimed they loved me, you know, they betrayed me like that. And not only did they betray me, but they caused me a lot of problems within my life. And I'm going to say this to normal people who experience this, you know, and who actually genuinely care about the person. They are going to have probably a lifelong lasting pain from that. And, you know, some people be like, oh, well, if that's the case, you still love them. And it's like, no, that is not true. You know, you're just trying to find a way to get over, like, the pain that this person has caused you, you know. And, you know, not only that, but, like, you know, also as well, there's a lot of songs that remind me of her. Like, you know, there's one song, you know, I'm a Nickelback fan. I grew up with them. But, like, there's a song that's called Follow You Home. And, you know, that song reminds me of her because that's exactly how it was. Like, you know, especially the part where he's like, he's screaming out, like, you can slap me in the face and you can scream profanity. And then he says something else, and then, but I'll still follow you home, right? And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I have probably screamed that in the shower, how many times I've, in all these years, right? Like, but she just keeps going. She keeps going. And, you know, recently, about maybe like, yeah, it was July, because she keeps tabs like on my birthday. Like, you know, it was almost around July, and she keeps tabs on my birthday. She, all this stuff, but like she's told me this story before. She said one time, this was when I lived with my parent, she said that she came down one time and knocked on the door. This was when I was married, mind you, and knocked on the door, and, you know, I didn't answer the door, but then she saw me answer the door later on as she was walking back and got in the car to leave. And, like, I was like, you know, I don't remember this. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not true, because I don't believe she's lying about it. I do believe she really can't come down, and the reason I believe that is because of how she is, how I just really know her well. I know how persistent she is, and, you know, like, she keeps, you know, wanting to meet, and, you know, I'm obviously declining, obviously. And, you know, another thing too, like, she keeps up with the same stuff, and then, you know, back to what I was saying, like, towards July, you know, she obviously keeps up with my birthday and crap, you know. So she just started letting loose. Like, I mean, she actually acknowledged everything she ever did wrong to me. You know, and I was like, you know, why do you continue to text me? Why do you continue to torture me? Like, and I said, like, you know, I said, do you have any idea the amount of pain, the Band-Aid that you're ripping off, like, every time you message me? And you've been doing this for almost 13 years. Like, you've been doing this for almost 13 years. And, you know, like, it's just gotten out of hand. And I told her this. I said, you know, you hurt me beyond compare. I said, you know, my mental health is bad. Like, it's terrible. And one of the main reasons is because of you. And, you know, I just started letting loose on this person. Like, you know, and, you know, because, like, this has honestly even bled into all my other relationships. Literally. It's completely bled into everything. And it's just, it's not a good experience, but, like,
You'll never be a match for me.
she won't give it a rest. Like, you think she would, but, like, she doesn't. And, you know, like, she just started going on and on and on. She's like, oh, well, I've changed now. I said, that's the thing. It's too damn late. It's too late. You know, she's finally realized she messed up. She's finally realized I was the man that was going to do everything for her, right? I was the man that was going to take good care of her, love her, you know, keep a roof over her head, all this crap, right? She realized that I was the one going to be to do that. And, you know, she so desperately wants me back. She so badly wants me back. She will even claim that, you know, somewhere deep in my heart, I'm still in love with her. She will claim that. Like, she thinks that for some odd reason. I don't know why. And I've told her several times, no, I said, you know, when you cheated on me, the love died. And she'll always just say, oh, you don't mean that, you know. And it's like, you know, yeah, I do. Like, and also another thing too, like, it's just, it goes to show, like, you know, the saying that goes, you don't know what you got till it's gone. That just goes to show that it's true. And am I going to say that, oh, she's getting her karma? No, I'm not going to say that, because karma is an illusion. It doesn't exist, as I talked about in one of my videos previous. What I think, I'll tell you what it is. It's life. She effed up, and now she's got to face the consequences of her bad decision in life. That's all it boils down to. But, like, another thing, too, like, she wants me back so bad. Like, it's not even funny. And, you know, she has to know that it's just not going to work.
Try again in a few
She even tried to meet me at a local restaurant, right? Not too long ago, like months, like sometime this year. It was like back in January, I think it was. And you know, obviously I declined. I wasn't going to go. And it's just, it's really weird, like, and you know, the love is dead. Like, it's completely dead. And but she, you know, she seems to think that, oh, there's hope and all this. And, you know, I pretty much just told her how it was. Like, you know, and, you know, you'll tell her the stuff and then she'll get mad, possibly, and block me. And then, you know, it doesn't last long, though, because she'll unblock and then be right back at the same crap again, right? So it's like, you know, it just really goes to show that that saying is true. But anyway, she will just continue and continue and continue and continue.
run home to
And
Mama now.
it's like, you know, I even told her, you know, you have really gave me extreme self-hatred issues. You have gave me extreme trust issues. You know, all this stuff. And then she was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I wish I could go back and change it. And I was like, I told her, I said, go back and change it, huh? I said, no. I said, I said, I kind of got mad at her. And we was voicing and stuff. And I told her, I said, listen, because, you know, I called her Tia, you know, that was a nickname I called her, you know, and I told her, I told her, and she knew I meant business when I said this, because when I would, like, kind of raise my voice a bit and, you know, say Tia like that, she knew I meant business. And, you know, I sat there and I did that. I said, Tia, I said, you had to do one thing. One damn thing. All you had to do was be faithful. That's all you had to do. And, you know, she sat there and just started crying and all this other stuff. And I was like, it's too late now. And I said, you know, you're realizing now that you're older, you're realizing you messed up bad. You're realizing she's realizing that she will never be married. She's realizing that she will never have a good man. She's realizing that she will never have a husband to keep her company, because the one man who was going to do that, she betrayed. She went off and cheated on all this other stuff, right? So, you know, when you're going out on a date, y'all, make sure you watch for red flags, because, you know, those red flags might just save you a lot of hardship. They might save you a lot of pain. And, you know, another thing too is, like, at least she finally took accountability for her actions. I will say that. But, like, she still continues to message and have hope. And, you know, there is no hope in it. There is no hope because I no longer care. I no longer want her. Plus, I'm married anyway. And it's like, you know, it just goes to show, you know, that's when they finally see the lights when it's too late. And
Try again in a few
I'll tell you another thing that this she did. So when she would come and visit, she would leave personal items like around. And guys, y'all need to really listen to this because if you notice a woman who's being suspicious and she's doing this kind of stuff to you, you need to run. And one of the items she would leave behind is women's underwear. And the reason why a woman will do this, and men do this to women, they will do it because they think that's a way to get back in the door. They'll say, oh, well, you know, did I leave, like the woman be like, oh, well, did I leave my pair of panties there? Like, or did, you know, I leave this there? Or like, you know, a man to a woman be like, oh, well, did I leave my hat there? Or my tools there? You know, like, people will do this. You have to really be looking for this red flag, y'all. I'm not even joking. Because she did this to me a lot. And at the time, you know, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why she was doing that. You know, at the time, I thought it was like, oh, well, she's just kind of leaving something, you know, for me there to, you know, like, remember her by or something, or, you know, no, that is not exact. That is far from the truth. It was because she didn't want me to get over her and whatnot. And so if you notice, you know, that happening, run. My next thing is if, you know, you're being intimate like that, you know, and their guardian or a parent or whatever walks in, it's like they just act like that's just a normal occurrence, or just it's not really all that surprising, really. Run as well, because more than likely this person will end up cheating on you. More than likely this person will end up betraying you. So,
Try again in a few years.
because, you know, if someone is walking in on somebody like that, you know, obviously they're going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to say something, obviously. Like, and another thing I want to say is, now, I may get a lot of hate for this, but if you're a man and this woman you're with is talking to all these guys, right, on the socials, she's not your girl. It's just your turn. And the same thing can be said for men. So don't think I'm excluding men. You know, ladies, if your man is talking to a bunch of women like that, he's not your man. It's just your turn. And, you know, you can try to fight, claw, and argue with me all you like on this. But here's the thing. If she so-called, or if he so-called loves you, why does he need to seek approval from other women? Why does she need to seek approval from other men, right? And what I mean by this, I'm not talking about like, oh, you have a best friend in South Korea, right? Like, I'm not talking about some crap like that. I'm talking about someone in your area that you can actually go out and meet, stuff like that, right? You know, and not only that, but like getting all this validation on social media, right? Run as well. You know, you can call that being insecure, whatever you want. I don't really care. Your words mean nothing to me, to the people who's going to say that. So don't waste your time saying that kind of crap, right? Yeah, that's just the way it works. Another thing too is like, if your woman is supposed to be moving in with you and she brings the bare minimum, and what I mean by that is like she only brings like medicine and clothes, that's a red flag. That is a red flag. Like, you know, even if that's all they own, right? Like that's a red flag. Like, because, you know, it makes you wonder, well, why doesn't this woman own anything else? Why? What's going on here? You know, like, but yeah, she would do this stuff. She would leave women's underwear around for me to find. She would leave. It could be some type of jewelry. It could be letters, coloring pages. There's a lot of things this could be. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things this can be, y'all, and you have to watch out for these signs. And if they are doing this, run. I mean, completely run, because it's not going to end well for you. I'm going to be honest. You know, you can have this optimistic mindset all you like, but at the end of the day, it's not going to end well for you. And you're going to end up going through a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak and heartache due to this situation you will be encountering. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of tell the story about this. I'm not going to kind of jabber and ramble on. I mean, I told like kind of like the biggest details, but like, you know, I guess a lot of it's kind of filling the gaps, I guess. But like, you know, I spent a lot of time with this woman, and, you know, it was a lot of time, and, you know, I really felt hard for her. And, you know, ever since, you know, that woman like that did me dirty, it's been really hard to really trust anybody. And that means relationship-wise, friendship-wise, family-wise, right? You know, and that's what it'll do to you. Like, it'll screw you up. And, you know, but like, I hope this video was eye-opening. If this was an eye-opening video, make sure you comment that it was, because if so, I would not mind to tell other stories like this, with like red flags. And what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna talk about like a bunch of red flags in this video. I plan on just doing a whole video just dedicated to red flags at some point, right? You know, just kind of knock them all out at the same time, right? So, yeah, anyway, you know, there's a saying that I go by, and, you know, it's very true. And the saying goes, if you don't heal from the ones who cut you, you will end up bleeding all over the ones who care. And I know in my life this is true 100%, and I'm not really ashamed to admit that. But it's tough to deal with. It's very tough to deal with. I mean, even though I do not love this person anymore, you know, the pain still hurts, obviously. There are days I will wake up, you know, and start thinking about how I was betrayed, you know, and just all this stuff, right? And it's like, you know, that's normal. I think that's completely normal. I know other people personally who do the same thing. But yeah, I hope this was eye-opening for you. And also, I know I said I was going to upload the Sonic review for Cross Worlds. I've not forgotten about that. I'm sorry, I've not got around to it. Things have been kind of hectic and busy. It'll be sometime this week. I'll say that. I don't want to give a specific day because I've already done that, and then I got busy and I wasn't able to do it. So sometime this week, I'm going to say. Yeah. Anyway, y'all, you got to watch out and all that. So yeah. Hope you liked the video. I'm going to end this one here. And, you know, this is, there's a lot of things, you know, there's a lot of actual songs that actually still remind me of this person today. And they're not love songs. They're songs about regret. They're songs about, you know, stuff like that. You know, you will grow to regret it. You will grow to regret that you fell in love with a person like this. You will regret that you ever met this person, right? So, yeah, anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. I hope all y'all have a wonderful night. And also to my viewers where it's daytime now, hope all y'all have a wonderful day. Make sure to stay safe. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It's crazy, but we got to get through it one day at a time, and all that kind of jazz, right? So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm out. So I will see you all next time, and God bless you all. Peace.